Okay, welcome to North Kansas City Schools PLP Orientation. My name is Eric Sipes, and I will be providing you some information on Schools PLP. So if we take a look at our agenda, just some introductions. Dr. Chad Sutton is our Deputy Superintendent of Academic Services. He oversees all academic services needs throughout the district. Kristen Havens is the Executive Director of Academic Services that oversees our kindergarten through sixth grade. And I am Executive Director of Instructional Technology for the district, and I oversee the Schools PLP program. Just to give you kind of an overview of what we're going to go through in this presentation, we're going to give you a background on Schools PLP and what it looks like. We're going to talk about the fact that there are actually two different curriculums built into the Schools PLP program. One is called Lincoln Learning, the other is Missouri Bright Thinker. We'll talk about that a little later on. We'll talk about how students are going to log in, how you can log in as a parent. We'll talk about daily activities and what that looks like. I'll give you an example of some supplies that you might want to have on hand, although alternatives are always accepted. I'll also give you a look at a sample schedule, what some expectations would be for not only your student, but you as the learning coach at home. And then we'll talk about the options that are available to you through our Library Media Center. So Schools PLP, if you have not done Schools PLP in the past, Schools PLP is a 100% virtual curriculum that students will work through independently. Although it is important to have a parent as a learning coach at home to assist through the process, students will do a lot of their work independently. The pace of the program is established by the computer itself. So when I set the beginning and end dates for the semesters, then the pace of the program is established by the program, and students are going to be asked to follow that pace. So they do need to work out a schedule at home where they can keep up with that pace. We will have a North Kansas City Schools teacher, we call him a facilitator, that will check in with your student once a week to make sure they're on pace, make sure they're doing well academically, and then to help troubleshoot any problems that they may have. However, due to the fact that we are checking in once a week, it is imperative that parents and families serve as a key supporter of the student learning going on at home. Device is provided by North Kansas City School District. Every kindergartner through 8th grade will be provided an iPad. You can pick those up at your home school during your school handout. So keep an eye out for communication coming from your home school about when the iPad handout is, and then that's when you would go to the school and pick up your device. I will tell you that the Schools PLP does work on any device, so you do not necessarily have to use the iPad. If you have a computer at home and your student is comfortable working on that computer, you're more than welcome to work on Schools PLP on that computer. So you don't have to work on the iPad, but curriculum does work on the iPad. So as we work through this semester, students that cannot keep with pace of the program or students that do not show adequate academic success will be asked to return to in-person learning. We need to make sure that kids are successful and they're keeping up with the pace going through the program. And if that is not achievable, then they will be asked to return. So with that, here's kind of a sample schedule that would show you as a parent what your child should be doing. So every day they should be working on ELA, math, science, and social studies. They should be doing activities every day throughout the week on each of those core subjects. And then you'll see I threw in PE, art, and music once a week. And then Friday could be used as a catch-up day. Let's say you had a doctor's appointment, you were unable to work on ELA on Monday or something like that. And Friday could be a catch-up day or potentially a work-ahead day. Get ahead of the program. So to give you a little overview of SchoolsPLP, as I mentioned earlier, there are two different curriculums built into the program. One is called Lincoln Learning Curriculum, and it is specifically for kindergarten through second grade. And then the other curriculum is the Missouri Bright Thinker Curriculum, and it is designed for third grade through eighth grade. For students to log in, I'll send out the website, but student login is their username is their student number. Their password is their birth date in the form of month, day, 4-digit year with an exclamation point at the end. So for example, my birthday is June 7th, 2010, right there. Then my password is capital JUN 072010 exclamation point. So that exclamation point kind of tricks people up, but make sure you add an exclamation point at the end. You should be able to log on. We're going to talk about the daily activities, latest activities, report card tab, and so on as we work through the next couple slides. So when you log into SchoolsPLP, this is what you're going to see. Is you'll see these tabs up here at the top, the overview tab, the report card tab, daily activity, messages, etc. So student will work on the overview tab for the most part. It will show you all your courses. Of course, it shows you your grade. The little bar underneath the underneath grade shows student. The pace of the program is that little bitty dark gray bar, and then where the student currently is at is in kind of a beige peachy color there. So if a student is ahead of pace, then it will be green. If they're behind pace, it'll show red. To work on a course, you'll see right there underneath the name of the course, there's a link that says work on this course. And it will also show you that there are 24 of 93 activities finished for that science course. So you can keep track of how your students doing. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see the latest activities, and it'll show you or the student what they've done recently. If you click on the report card tab, this shows kind of a big overview of the student. It shows all their classes. It shows their current grades. It shows whether they're on track or behind in pace. Slide on over to the right, and it shows you how many activities they've finished, how many they have left to finish, and so on. The messages tab. One way that your teacher facilitator will communicate with the student is to send messages through the PLP program. In order to get off of this tab, the student must acknowledge or reply to every message that they're sent. Okay, so that always tricks people up. They'll get sent a message and then they're stuck on this tab and can't get off of this tab. So in order to get off of this tab, you either have to acknowledge or reply. So to acknowledge or reply, you're going to click on the teacher's name, which in this case is Eric Sipes. And then there will be a link for you to either reply or acknowledge. The daily activity tab just shows how much the student has worked in a particular day. What I would do is caution you, if you use an iPad, this tab does not seem to record every minute that a student is on. So sometimes the student, this data will be off a little bit, but if a student is on a computer, it does seem to work. This information seems to be more accurate. So just be mindful of that as you work through the program. There's the website, as I said, nkcschools.schoolsplp.com, and I'll send that out in a follow-up email. SchoolsPLP does work on any device. Student can use their own computer if they have a computer at home and want to use their own computer, but it will work on any device. And again, there's a student login. Username is the student number, which is their lunch number. Most students should know that. Their password is their birth date in that form. And don't forget that exclamation point at the end. Here's just some specifics about the courses. The Lincoln Learning content has a lot of PDFs built into the program. So the district has been gracious enough to print those PDFs. So we have some printed packets for kindergarten through second grade, ELA, math, science, and social studies. So if you don't have one of those packets, you can pick that up at your school or talk to your teacher facilitator. We will print it and have it shipped to your school, and you can pick it up from your school as you work through the program. There's also a packet for third grade ELA and fourth grade social studies. So those are the only printed packets that are available through the program from the school district. So in ELA, there are a lot of books that may be mentioned in the curriculum. All of them that are mentioned are provided. I have gone through and downloaded all the books that are needed and have put a link in there so that they're available in the curriculum itself. So if it says that you need a reading book, North Kansas City has available 2 apps in self-service that are available on the iPad. We have the Epic app and the Libby app as well. In math, it may tell you to use digital or use manipulatives to do something within the curriculum. I have also put a link in all math courses to digital manipulatives that are available for free online that will allow the student to work through the manipulative courses as they go. If you need something translated, there is a Google Translate app in self-service that are available. And then as you work through the curriculum, if the curriculum says that you need a microscope for science and you don't have a microscope at home, that is perfectly acceptable. We will always take alternatives. Just keep communication with your PLP facilitator in that particular instance, and we'll work through that with you. As I mentioned at the beginning, here are some supplies that you may want to look at having on hand. These are not mandatory. These are just things that students could potentially use as they work through the curriculum. A lot of these you probably have already, construction paper, glue, and crayons and things like that. So like I said, if you don't have something, we don't ask that you run out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. Use what you have at home, and alternatives are accepted. So teacher interaction, as I mentioned earlier, your teacher facilitator will check in with you each week. They should set up a Teams link with your child so that they can have a 30-minute face-to-face meeting virtually with your child. If you can't or the student can't make that particular meeting, the teacher will review work within the curriculum and provide written feedback in place of a live conference. Keep in mind that your teacher facilitator is teaching students face-to-face, so they are teaching all day long. And so return calls and emails, it may take them a little bit of time. So give them up to 24 hours to get back in touch with you if you have a problem. You're always welcome to reach out to me as well, but keep in mind that your teachers are teaching face to face. We do ask that we have a designated adult at home that needs to have direct involvement with the child's learning during the day. That adult needs to supervise and make sure that the student is understanding the content and working through the curriculum and keeping pace throughout the school day. So without that, most children will not be successful without an adult at home to help them. And then your teacher facilitator should set up a virtual meet the teacher night sometime this week. Being a successful learning coach, as the parent, you need to assist with teaching the lessons, monitor comprehension, make sure your students are understanding, set a weekly learning schedule so that the student has some consistency throughout the week. Check upcoming lessons and required materials that might be needed, and then make sure you're communicating with your learning facilitator. So that way we can hopefully make your child as successful as possible. And last, if not least, there are some library resources that are available to every student, not just in-person students. Destiny is our library media checkout system. Students can go into student links on our website and go log into Destiny and find books that they may want to check out. Our library is providing curbside pickup. Learn 360 is a educational video service that we subscribe to that is available to all kids. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Epic and Libby are also available in self-service for books, ebooks that a student can download to their iPad and read. Also, if a student needs tutoring, we have a partnership with Mid-Continent Public Library that allows for free tutoring through tutor.com. So every student, unless you opt out, is automatically given a Mid-Continent Public Library library card, and with that they can subscribe to free tutoring through tutor.com. So I'll send out more information on that as well. Thank you for this visiting us tonight, and we hope you have a great and successful year with your students.